Media live stream. Today I have true Hall of Famers here, you guys. I think they've come on the Onchain Media live streams more than any other project. We have B3. I have the co-founders of B3 here today, Daryl and Sean Gang. You guys, I'm so excited for this live stream. We have a lot to dive into today. I know you guys have been wanting to talk about X402, but before we dive in, I just want to do a quick disclaimer. Nothing shared here today is financial advice, so I encourage everyone watching, always do your own research. And that being said, I would love to hear from you guys, and maybe we can go into some introductions.
Yeah, absolutely. Rachel, we're super pumped to be on here. As always, it's a huge pleasure. I think just to give a quick intro on myself, I'm Daryl, one of the co-founders of B3. B3, for those that don't know, we are building one of the top consumer and gaming ecosystems on Base, which is actually near to dear to a lot of our hearts because a lot of the team here is ex-Base, ex-Coinbase, and so we're really passionate about building and scaling the Base ecosystem. If you think really quickly about B3, you could think of it in two parts. One is we are supporting third-party builders that come and build casual games and also crypto native AAA games like Sanctuary that we're building with Parallel for those that are into third-person shooters. And we are also a incubation studio. So we think that crypto consumer is super interesting. It's still very early, and we like to pilot and test and launch next generation crypto consumer experiences like Hype Duel, Basement, Stake to Win. And so, yeah, you can think of us as both an ecosystem and a studio, but super excited to talk today about X402. But before doing that, I think, let me turn it over to Sean for a quick intro.
Yeah, no, Daryl nailed it. I came from Coinbase as well, knew Daryl and our other co-founder, Victoria. I'm on the engineering side, so I managed a couple of engineering teams at Coinbase, did a lot of work in the very early iterations of what is now the Base app. And so I
Wow,
was
thank
responsible for
you.
a lot of,
Hats
yeah,
off, man.
it's been a long time building, and of course, like, kudos to the team for like seeing it all the way through. It's tough, at large companies to go from 0 to 1 type products, and so it was very cool being a part of that. But my passion is, of course, in building things, and so I jumped at the opportunity to go and expand the Base ecosystem with what we're doing and supporting builders and building consumer products in ways that maybe Coinbase doesn't want to do themselves. And so, I'm right alongside Daryl and the rest of our team to just ship, And so we're excited to talk about a little about what we've been cooking recently on 402.
Yeah, and I have to say, it's just a very impressive arc from your entire team. I mean, I've talked to Victoria about this, Daryl, we've talked a bit about this. You guys all coming from Coinbase and Base. I'm curious, like, I've heard the story from Victoria, but if you guys don't mind sharing, like, what did that arc look like? Like, you guys all coming together and deciding we want to do this.
Yeah, I think it was very serendipitous. I think, Sean and Victoria worked very closely together on specific products at Coinbase, and I was working on other parts of the ecosystem, but I think we all had this shared passion for building something of our own, right? That was more in line with our mission, our vision, which at the start was gaming and really advancing crypto gaming, right? And so I think I think what Coinbase does a good job of is recruiting people that are like-minded, that all have like a similar vision for not just tech, but I think even life in general. And so it just was fun. I think it was very serendipitous that we all got connected, and yeah, I think found shared belief in the vision. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Sean has a different side of the story.
No, I mean, I've been fortunate to be kind of on the engineering side, in the sense that, like, and I have great respect for a lot of the builders at Coinbase, because, when I joined, it was like right at the end of the last cycle. And so, like, immediately after I joined, it was like layoffs and
No.
reorgs and those kind of things, which, was happening kind of everywhere in tech at the time. But I think people bond through hardship, and it really weeds out a lot of people who, like, really do want to be there and build through bear markets. And so met a lot of great leaders, engineers, Colleagues like Daryl, Victoria, who, you can just tell, like, no matter what the price action is, like, does this person care about what they're doing? Do they have conviction in crypto and the overall, like, thesis that, like, crypto is really going to bring economic freedom to people? And so, I think to Daryl's point, a little bit of serendipitous meeting, but a little bit of, forcing.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. You guys,
Yeah.
The whole team
There you
at
go,
B3,
yeah.
I say this all the time. They're extremely high integrity individuals, highly motivated individuals, and they know how to execute. Like, I've almost never seen, it's like you guys will like go in one direction, you do it extremely well. And something I've noticed about B3 is you guys do a lot of things extremely well. Like everything you've done, you executed like you're basically just very high performers that all came together to do this. So it makes sense that you all came together, and your vibe attracts your tribe. So
I'm gonna steal that one, Rachel. That's really
go
great.
for it. It's like in the public consciousness, so it's not an original Rachel quote. So.
Love it. Love it.
So okay, you guys, I'm gonna ask a question here, more on a personal level, like what your why is, right? Like you all came together to build B3. I'm curious what the why behind your mission is.
Yeah, absolutely. I can kick us off. So I think my why and B3, right? I think our first few products were really focused and centered around crypto gaming, and that's really our roots, right? And for me, having played games throughout my childhood, playing strategy games, shooter games, I think the first iteration of crypto gaming, the first cycle that I saw around even CryptoKitties and Axie, I just saw so much potential to actually balance the reward distribution across both players and game makers and game studios, because I think right now there's such a, like, Web2 gaming is going through a bloodbath. Like, a lot of the power and a lot of the profits are being concentrated in the top, like, corporate gaming studios. And the indie folks that made, like, some of the games that defined our childhood, they just don't have, like, the ability to compete anymore because they can't get the funding or they can't get the distribution. And I felt like crypto had a very, very unique opportunity to equalize that. And so that personally for me was the why. And when I helped to start Base back at Coinbase with Jesse, like, for me, gaming was the one use case I was super passionate about, because it felt like it was such a good link with, like, what Base was doing around building community, liquidity, and also just amazing tech for game studios to build on. So it's a personal mission of mine to make crypto gaming a thing, even though I think these days it's struggling a bit. I think it's going to come back. I think it's just a matter of time.
Well, I think you've really captured something that's very important in the space. You picked something that's so fun, that so many people around the world resonate with, and that everybody can see, right? There's a lot of issues in the traditional gaming world, and you're coming in to solve those problems. And, I've done streams with Icy talking about B3. We've played No Mores together, and he shared why he loves on-chain gaming. And it's because, there are so many gamers worldwide. It's just something that everyone can tap into and have fun with. And I think if we really want to onboard the masses, we got to make it fun, you guys. So you guys have really chosen a vertical where it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. For me, it really does center around the concept of consumer and fun. For us, like, gaming, I think in its current form isn't really working out, right? It's not working out in traditional gaming spaces. That industry is struggling, and even in the crypto space, right? You get these little, mini bubbles of games that kind of work, but overall, like, I think the right model still hasn't quite been found out. I think really it goes to the idea of, like, we should be expanding our definition of what is a game or what is fun. Most people today who participate in crypto, I think trading is a game for some people, right? A lot of people look at a lot of the different components of crypto as, like, this is like the modern day, the adult. I used to trade Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon cards as a kid. Now I can do it on chain. And in some ways, like, that's been gamified. And we've seen this trend happen in traditional fintech products, even with Robinhood, and kind of like bringing options trading and equities trading, traditional investments, but in a gamified sense to people. And that's the DNA that we're hoping to bring to different products. For me, like, why even do this startup at all? It's really about like building stuff, right? And I think there's a lot of discussion in the crypto community. There's a lot of great infrastructure that exists, but there's not a lot of people who are building, consumer products, because it's very difficult, very, very difficult to win in that space. And, you have to try though, right? You have to make these attempts, and you have to give people examples, and you have to like show them that it can be done. And, if that's what we set out to do, then I hope that one of the things that we attempt, and thank you for the kind words, and we attempt to do things, to the best of our ability in every category.
You guys are not you're not trying, you're doing every single thing I've seen you guys do. It just it looks so polished. Like, I actually want to screen share at some point and show, like, kind of like show the different work you guys have done, because it's just really impressive. And hearing you guys so passionate about this, having this alignment on this mission, I think you guys have really chosen a vertical that makes sense in the on-chain space and beyond. And yeah, also like the demographic of people in crypto, right? A lot of us are gamers. I feel like most people I talk to are gamers. Game to some extent. And Daryl, on one of our first streams and shows, you were talking about mobile gaming and how mobile gaming has really blown up. So I think there's a lot of potential here, and yeah, we're gonna dive deeper in everything here today. Before we dive into X402, I do have a challenge for you guys. I told you before we went live, I'm gonna give you guys a challenge here live. I'm gonna put you guys on the spot a little bit. This is gonna be hard, I feel like, because I thought about how I can talk about this to people, but I want to hear from each of you in one sentence. Can you describe everything that B3 does in one sentence? Because like you guys do so much, I feel like I want to like figure out how do I distill this for when I'm talking about it with people, like,
Yeah, Sean, you want to kick us off? Sounds like you got something cooking.
I would say B3 incubates innovative ideas with upside.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah. I'll say it again. B3 incubates interesting ideas with upside.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we have a winner. I think that's a great one. I mean, maybe one small tweak there is just like fun, like incubates
gamification,
fun and interesting. Yeah, gamifies experiences. But I think the crypto element really kicks in, right? Because of the upside piece. I think the financialization of crypto, if it's tuned and utilized in the right way, like it can actually be positive EV for everyone that participates, right? So that's what we're really trying to go towards, not like scams or Ponzi's and whatnot.
I love it. And by the way, I just want to shout out, I see some community members here in the chat. I see Pixel, who is here, GM Pixel, Cali Crypto, Nelson, GM, everybody. Just want to show some love for the on-chain media community, B3 community showing up today. If you guys have any questions throughout the stream, I will be paying attention to the chat on X and on YouTube if you guys want to drop your questions or just comments or thoughts along the stream. Okay, now finally, you guys, X402. I know this is something we've had messages back and forth. I know this is something that you guys really care about diving into and educating on. So why don't we start from the top with what X402 is and why it's important?
Yeah, so I think to take a quick step back, 402, before X402, the standard developed by Coinbase, it was this weird, almost half-forgotten HTTP status code because not many folks used it. It wasn't very practical in the sense that you couldn't really use it to describe how much you're charging, right? Because the status code return payment required and exactly how to pay. So I think as the internet evolved, everyone started to do their own thing and built their own payments infrastructure, things like checkout and other formats to process payments. But recently, X402, developed by Coinbase, actually helps to solve for that and finally delivers on the promise of 402. So when a server is returning, let's say 402, right, it includes how to pay, and the user or the client or the agent can actually programmatically make that payment through blockchain rails. And so that way, if you're an AI agent and you need to hit an endpoint for trading data, or you need to make a query for something, you don't need to go through like a special checkout or even go through like a SaaS subscription, right? You could just pay directly, which I think is a game changer.
So that really ties in with like how you guys have focused so much on payments with AnySpend. And I do want to dive deeper into the crossover here, but yeah, I feel like X402, it created so much buzz on the timeline. The whole base community was just talking about this for like, I mean, I'm still seeing chatter about it, but I'm curious like why you guys think like this really hit home with the base community. Like why have so many people been excited about this?
Yeah, I can speak from the developer side, like the reason I was excited about it and why I thought it was a perfect fit, even zooming out, like why are we building, what does it have to do with B3? Why are we doing this? We built AnySpend because we needed a liquidity layer, right? We had game chains, we had people who were building across chains, and it was very difficult, especially in gaming, which doesn't always have a wallet attached, because browser-based wallets are really only thing in browsers. And so what do you do if you have a console game or a desktop game, right? You need a smooth deposit and transaction layer, which is why we built AnySpend. And it's quickly evolved with our team to become more of an orchestration layer across multiple chains for liquidity in every shape and size. And so 402 was really exciting for us because it brought crypto into the internet like standard rails. And so not only did it just make sense, but we knew that like from the perspective of AI agents and just generally the headaches that developers deal with having access to API endpoints and paying for them and setting up billing, like this was really just a common sense thing to do. And so it was great to see Coinbase push this, and great to see Cloudflare and other enterprises start to adopt this and really make this like, hey, we can all agree on this standard, we can all agree on this is how it's kind of executed. And it's still early days for this stuff. And so the idea space is rather green. But from the developer side, like it really just is common sense, right? And I think there's a lot of stuff in crypto that's like vaporware, in the sense of like, oh, maybe this thing will be one day, right? This could be if these things happen. But I would put this in the bucket of like, it's like if somebody invented SMTP for email, right? And even though there hasn't been the Gmail, right, version that actually made the protocol level accessible, like the rails themselves make a lot of sense, and that's why we're seeing such great adoption, both from crypto native developers, but also from Web2 developers.
Right.
I think there's always, in crypto we have this problem of a lot of solutions looking for problems, right? But I think this one there's actually a good fit here.
That part, yeah. I've felt that. Thank you for putting that into words. I felt that.
Yeah. I also feel like every time you get more efficient payments, you're able to unlock a new economy. So one example would be if you go back to the early days of the internet, right? PayPal was one of the first online payment platforms, and that enabled a whole economy around, secondary marketplaces, eBay, right? Maybe folks that are working overseas, working as contractors and freelancers and being able to transact payments. I think this economy is going to be more tied to the next phase of the internet around agentic web and agentic commerce. But like this is going to be a key building block of that. So that's why we're like super pumped to be a part of it.
Awesome. Well, I do want to share a resource here. I was checking out different links where you guys can go and learn and do a deeper dive. And you can go directly on Coinbase's website, and they have a whole section on this. I don't know if there's anything here that you guys have seen or want to review, but I think this will be a good resource for people who want to learn more. Looks like there's also an article as well on Coinbase's website, just under, developer resources here. So yeah, on Coinbase's website, I don't know if there's anything you guys have seen here, anything you guys want to go over, and maybe like just kind of dive deeper into?
Yeah, I think at the core, I mean, Coinbase does a good job of laying it out. I think at the core, right, what is the problem we're looking to solve? Well, today, developers, let's say I want to use ChatGPT's API, right? I'm building some kind of AI-based system, or maybe it's even, you know, less advanced, and I'm building a trading bot, right? I need access to financial data, charting data. Today, I basically have to go to a provider. Maybe it's OpenAI, maybe it's, you know, TradingView or somebody that offers historical data, and I have to sign up, right? I have to put my credit card in, I have to register as a developer, I get some API credentials, and then I have to, like, you know, learn how to use those specific credentials in the way that they've built it. You know, that's fine if you're building a one-off application, or you know, I guess it's really just more what developers are used to today. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? Because it is kind of annoying to do that, and in many ways, like, you know, you have to kind of build a lot of custom things for each downstream provider that you want to use. So I need a custom library to deal with OpenAI. I need a custom library to deal with TradingView data, you know, and so it really isn't very composable. It's not very generic at all. And so 402 standardizes the pay per API usage or pay per API call system. So now we've moved everything to crypto rails, and we make everything a micropayment. So that makes a lot of sense for a lot of things, especially AI, where, you know, you pay essentially for the compute, right? And so I make a call, I pay a penny or whatever, and I get some response back. But generically, of course, it works for anything. And so we are using this as a center of, I think, what will be the new version of connecting various providers together. So in the agent world, it looks like tool calls, right, where maybe you have some specialized service that does, like, I don't know, photo editing. And you have some other specialized service that does, you know, retrieving of historical financial data. But all of those providers, you know, can be used by the same agent, and it's all powered under this protocol. And so that sounds great, but, you know, why did we need to build in this space? What is the difference in what we're doing? Well, the current version of 402 is very centered on USDC, and it's, I think, so early stage that there's not that many, you know, 402 endpoints that are, like, meaningful at this junction. So we're taking it step by step. Step one is solve the liquidity issue. Not everyone wants to center on USDC. For example, like BSC, for example, you know, Binance centers on USDT. And so what are they going to do, right? Are those users all kind of alienated? Or if you're a crypto native engineer and you have you rather collect crypto, you know, I want ETH instead of USDC. There's really no way for you to do that in the current world. And so we started with any x402, which is a multi-chain, multi-token facilitator. So this basically unlocks, using the AnySpend tech underneath, the ability to use 402 with any token, both from the payment side as well as the settlement side. So if you are a user and your seller accepts, you know, USDC or some other token, but you don't have USDC, guess what? You can pay with whatever is in your wallet. It can be ETH, it can be Trump coin, it can be anything. If you're a seller and you don't want to receive just USDC, and all your buyers are paying with USDC, and maybe you rather have ETH, right, or Bitcoin or something, you can do that with a 402.
Wow, well, this is really incredible. And, you know, another resource here is Any and 402. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about, like, kind of the crossover here, and a bit more about what folks can see on anyspend.com/x402?
Yeah, for sure. So like I mentioned before, the reason we built AnySpend is because we needed a liquidity layer. And it became so popular, frankly, and in such demand that like we just made it a separate product. So people today, integrate any spend for DeFi products, for sometimes gaming products, but sometimes everything under the sun, right? And we made it very generic to serve as a payments layer, a liquidity layer for on-ramp, swap, deposit flows, and contract calls. So today, if you have, let's say, a perps deck, and you need a way to on-ramp your users into that perps decks, we can support that, right? You can use any spend to accept deposits from a number of different chains and convert it to whatever tokens you do accept. You can also subsequently make the contract call in the same flow that you do. And so from the user perspective, it's great. You just send coins, and everything just magically happens under the hood for you, and you just get the expected outcome. And so even at Coinbase, right, we obsessed a lot about crypto UX, because I think the reality today is that UX, it's not there yet, right? It's not at the same level that you would expect the true normies to be able to onboard.
Yeah.
And so we build these products to get the experience as close as we can, and every optimization we can make, we'll make. So similarly here, right, with x402, we're making these optimizations for the 402 protocol, and we have a lot of big plans for where we can take this that I know we've chatted with folks at Coinbase, we've chatted with plenty of other folks in the 402 ecosystem, and everybody's very excited about kind of the roadmap that we have planned with this product.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited, and I also see the community is very excited right now. I see a bunch of comments in the live stream chat. I'm seeing actually some questions come in. By the way, I want to shout out, we actually have a UN speaker in the chat right now. Leslie Mata is here in the live stream chat. Shout out to Leslie. Leslie, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Love to see you here. Let's see. I see a question from Pixel. So Pixel is asking, is this a way to pay for gaming through crypto, but in the real world? So she's still learning. She just wants to know if she's understanding. I guess her question is kind of like, how is this intersecting with gaming?
Yeah, I think the games are evolving today. So, in the traditional sense of games, even if I want to connect between two games, right, how do those two games talk to one another? 402 might be a great way to do that, to bridge some of the gaps. Of course, we've heard these use cases in crypto with NFTs and fungible tokens, which is if you center on assets that are decentralized and that everybody agrees on the framework of, you make things a lot more like Lego pieces. And as we've learned today, when you think of the world in composability and Lego pieces, you can build some really cool things that you otherwise could not. And so I think of 402 as a way to standardize things. Gaming is one of the use cases, but it's, I think, just one of many use cases that we're exploring with 402.
Yeah, I think one of the cooler use cases for gaming would be less human to game interaction and more agent to game. So if you have a gambling game, for example, right, with gacha boxes or slots or spin the wheel, right, the way that the agents can play those games and pay for payments and deposits in those games will be through x402 rails, which I think would be really cool. Because I think right now, how can you actually get an agent to play a game on browser or on mobile? I think it would be very difficult. There'd be some friction involved and some human intervention, but this way, you could just have the agent hit the API just like, any, let's say, trading strategy hits exchange APIs, right? There doesn't really need to be a human involved, which I think is going to be really awesome for the future of gaming.
So this really is helping with more automation, right? Helping to make things more, more automatic and more versatile.
Yeah, I think it's really paving the road for what we think the future of the internet is going to look like, right? Let's say, you have an AI agent that you want it to trade for you, you want it to execute some kind of financial strategy. It doesn't have access to a lot of stuff, right, by default, because it doesn't know your credit card number. It's not going to go and sign up for you and set up API keys and then try to write some code that integrates it. it's just not really where things are today. But with 402, it can, right? The agent can have a wallet, it can go and execute and purchase data and use data, which of course it'll need to do if you wanted to perform any kind of complicated action. And so I think for me, there's two pieces. Like one, there's a lot of work that everyone's excited about on the AI side, but on the other side, there's also a lot of orchestration and automation work that happens even without AI agents that we use today. So one good example for me is, I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with like Zapier or If This Then That, which are these workflow builders. So before my
it's like coding
career,
logic too, right?
yeah, exactly. So it's like, before my career in tech, I was a business owner in an e-commerce platform. So we had a lot of business logic, right? We dealt with customer reviews. So, one simple flow is like, hey, if somebody leaves me a bad review, I need to be notified of it. I need to understand what product they bought and how long it took to ship. And I need to forward that information to my team so that we can quickly get in front of this person and make this situation correct. And those flows, right, that custom workflow that I just described is something that, let's say you don't have a developer, which, face it, a lot of business owners probably don't. You can build through a Zapier or one of these workflow-based tools and just visually, create this thing. And so that sounds a lot like what an AI agent or an orchestrator in 402 could do. And so I think 402 basically transforms all of these different services. Let's say it's Shopify, or I need access to customer review data from Yelp. All of these things become Lego pieces, and any spend is going in the direction of kind of orchestrating and connecting all of these together so that not only agents can execute it, but that we can offer these a lot more enhanced experiences for the everyday user who's trying to build some logic that makes their life easier.
I love it. So you guys are really building the building blocks towards a better user experience for all in the on-chain space. And I think that's very admirable. I do see more comments coming in. So Pixel is saying, so I don't have to convert a coin to make a purchase if it requires a certain one. I can pay with any and it will convert it to the right coin for me. Where can I use where can I use it or use this? Okay. Is it possible to use it with any purchase? Sorry, I was like multiple questions in one.
Yeah. The short of it is there's multiple steps to this. So step one is create the ability to accept any token across any chain. That's what any x402 offers today. The second part of that question is, where can I go and try this? Well, there's a number of resources in the 402 ecosystem. We're still in the process of getting our listings and things like that sorted on them, but 402 Scan is a popular one, for example. We are going to drop some use cases for people to try on no need to, through a UI, right? No programming needed, to fetch data, to purchase inventory, and to go and try some various things. And so look out for that in the coming week.
It sounds like today, a little bit of alpha to me. I don't know, you guys. Yeah. Sounds like a little bit of alpha today. Awesome. Well, yeah, Pixel, hopefully that answers your question. And just to acknowledge some more comments coming through, I see Will T of Web3, who's very into education in our space. Will says, let's see, my friend introduced me to this protocol last week, so even more devs can now use 402 more simply.
Yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the head, Will. I think 402, so going back to what Sean said, I think any you can think of as a platform, right? A set of developer tooling, and 402 is another use case that we're applying the any value prop to, which is making seamless cross-chain token transfers, making them cheap, making them efficient, and also automating workflows where possible. And so I think that's 402 we're just really excited about, because I think it's a real 0 to 1 moment. It feels like we're building something that actually has utility, integrates crypto in an elegant way. And I think just the energy, the caliber of builders, folks that have been jumping on the 402 wagon, like all of that has been really, really exciting to see. So it feels like, it's a good place to contribute something from the AnySpend side.
Yeah, and I want to say too, like I've noticed that in the B3 community, like the caliber of builders, like I feel like there's definitely a solid crossover here, like high caliber individuals that are kind of attracted to 402 are also building with B3. And also another thing is that you guys, if you are gaming developers out there, you can actually come build on B3. I think this is something I definitely want to share more of. Maybe we can touch on ways that people can get involved here and get started.
Yeah, Daryl, do you want to take this one, or?
Yeah, I think it cut out for me for a second. No.
So just to recap, basically,
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on how a lot of developers can actually get involved and build on B3, gaming developers specifically. And there are a ton of ways to get involved and build in the B3 ecosystem. I was wondering if we can kind of unpack like how people can get started and get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. I think there's a few different ways. If you're building a game that has on-chain elements, whether it's a casual game, AA, AAA game, right? We operate a layer 3 that is hosted on top of Base. The difference between us and Base, because we're a layer 3 and a roll-up, is we're cheaper from a transaction perspective, so gas isn't really an issue for the millions of users that you want to onboard through your game, and transactions are faster, throughput is higher. And so if you are looking for a fast performant chain, right, and looking to tap into a community of folks that really believe in gaming that also reside in the Base ecosystem, then like B3 is a great chain for you to build on. We would love to talk to you. We have a bunch of games that are live today. You can see there we have 250, and we have more double and AAA games coming down, including Sanctuary for folks that like third-person shooters. And then I think if you're a game developer that perhaps has already chosen an existing chain to build on, right? And it doesn't really make sense for you to move to B3. We also have tooling that's chain agnostic that you can plug into. So something like AnySpend, we're talking to a lot of game developers about because they need an easy way to accept crypto deposits and on-ramp people from fiat to crypto, right? Which AnySpend solves for. If you're building AI agents that are in the gaming sector, right, or are going to play games and bid on games and participate in tournaments, right, you can also use our facilitator to process x402 payments. And so I think there's like a bunch of different ways to do it. I think majority of folks right now build on B3 chain, but we understand that the world in the future is not just going to be one chain, it's not just going to be Base, it's going to be many different chains, and we want to build tooling that's chain agnostic and can support that future.
I love to see it. It just sounds like a very well thought out project, and there's a lot of layers to this, you guys. That's why I asked earlier if we can distill this potentially into one sentence, because they're doing payments, they're doing gaming. Like there's so many things that the B3 team is doing. They're offering a platform, a layer 3 for developers to come build on top of as well. And yeah, I mean, there's Basement, there's Hype Duel, they're creating these AI versus AI betting experiences. So I don't know if there's anything else in the B3 universe that you guys want to unpack or cover, or we can bring it back to X402. But I feel like there's just so many interesting and fun things in the B3 universe.
Yeah, I feel like that's been a bit of our like gift and curse. Is like there's so much going on that it's hard to like help people understand exactly what the one thing is, because there's not one thing. And I think if there's a way for me to try to distill the information for people, it's that we are, oh, am I frozen? Yeah.
You sound great to me. I could see you moving.
Okay, got it. If there's one way I can distill it, it's that like think of us as like an ecosystem business, right? So there's a few different arms here. There's the labs, which is where we incubate a lot of our consumer bets. These are platforms, games, things for you to do as a user to come and use. So we have Basement, we have Hype Tool, we have a bunch of products that are essentially just like in-house consumer bets that we make for you to come and experience that are all built on top of our chain and are live today with real experiences. There's also a ventures and investment arm where we have partners who are building things like Sanctuary. We made an investment in gaming, one of the leading gaming PC manufacturers today, assemblers today, that are strategic bets. And then there's a developer cohort, which covers more things like any spend and tooling, ecosystem, data APIs, things for people to build with. The idea of having all three is that we're trying to drive value back to B3, the token, for our community, for our holders, and to just grow the ecosystem. And so it's not really just one bet. You're really getting more of a package deal here. And any number of our bets all center around the idea of driving utility, driving token value as these different segments grow within our portfolio.
Yeah, just to expand on that a little bit, I think Sean made a really important point at the end there. Everything that we do, from labs to the protocol to investments to tooling, all of the revenue that's made by these different products, right? All of the value goes back to B3 token holders. So I think you could think of maybe the B3 token as like the sun.
Flywheel.
The flywheel and all of these different products revolving around it.
Yeah, I think it's really incredible, and I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of the team, like everything you guys are doing. I mean, this is one in particular I'm very excited about. If you guys haven't seen, I actually made a video recently on arena coins. I think this is something that's really exciting, that's fueling the on-chain economy for Hype Duel. It's like these coins, you can own and basically buy and bet on different outcomes for AI versus AI battles. And I actually haven't seen this done before. Like, it's very unique and it's very innovative. So this is just one example of different things I'm excited about from the B3 side. But real quick, I am getting another question in from Will T. It sounds like he's asking some more developer-focused questions here. So Will T is asking, he wants to understand the workflow logic better. Can it launch smart contracts or push code? And can it push requests to a GitHub repo?
Yeah, so the short answer is yes, but it would require a developer to build those endpoints. So 402 is just the rails of which you can facilitate the payment, right? So as a developer, I can build an endpoint that submits a GitHub commit or review. I can charge you for it through 402, and then I can offer that in our new product, which is going to be like the future of any spend, as an orchestrator. So we'll be building kind of like the on-chain Zapier, if you will, right? Where we can let users orchestrate a number of complicated actions. Every Lego piece can be a 402 endpoint today. And so as more 402 endpoints get added across, not just the base ecosystem, but anywhere in crypto, we will support them automatically, which means the growing toolkit of what you can do is exponentially increasing, right, as the protocol gains more and more adoption.
Awesome. Will says thank you for the answer, and he would love to get connected with you guys. So yeah, Will, I'm happy to set up a chat and connect you guys. Will's a long-term OG educator in our space, very focused on education. So love to see it. Yeah, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask. But I am curious, maybe just to bring it back, I see Will asking here where to get connected with you guys. Where can people go and get connected with the B3 team and with you guys personally as well?
Yeah, I think a few different ways. So for folks that live and breathe Discord, you can find us in the B3.fun Discord. We have a great community there. We have Jeff Tendo, who leads our community. So if you have any questions on how to engage or announcements, new product features, new launches, that's the single source of truth. That's the best place to go. But if you are a developer or builder and you want to engage with the B3 ecosystem in some way, shape, or form, I think you can actually reach out directly to us. We're pretty accessible on X and Twitter, and also Telegram as well. We're there 24/7, so you can ping us directly, and we'll make sure to get back to you.
Awesome. And yeah, I have to say, just from my experience interacting with the team, they're super responsive. They're excited to show up and obviously not afraid to take risks and collaborate and try new things. So if you're looking to collab or build on B3, I think this is a really great team to collaborate with, you guys. Um, and yeah, just to kind of get into my final questions here, I'm curious if you guys have any words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our listeners today and our viewers. We have, let's see, we have almost 400 people watching here live today. So any words of wisdom you guys want to share with our viewers?
Awesome. Yeah, I could start. I mean, people don't usually go to me for wisdom or advice, so this is unnatural for me. But if I had to say something, I think one principle that I've stuck with throughout my career in tech and in consulting and traditional financial services is just go where the smartest people are going. And I think that was true with crypto in the early days. And actually, I think just to take it back to 402, like I think it's true for 402 as well. I think some of the smartest people in crypto, especially on the technical and developer side, like they're all actually thinking about use cases and contributing to the dialogue around 402, which shows me that there's like real staying power and some utility here, right? That's longer term. We just have to figure out what the tooling looks like and actually, build better products. But it really does feel like there's something here because all the smartest people are talking about it.
I love it. And that reminds me of the quote, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Always go where there's people around you that can educate you, that you can learn from. I think that's a really good philosophy, Daryl, in life. And I'm curious, you said people don't go for you for wisdom typically. What do people go to you for? What, are you the ideas guy? Who's the ideas guy behind B3?
Sean is definitely the ideas guy. So Hype Tool, for example, is Sean's brainchild. The man has a million ideas a minute. Like, if you need ideas, go to Sean. He's got ideas for everything. And most of them, I can't say all of them are great, but most of them are very, very good.
Not all of them. Yeah.
We just need someone following Sean around all day with a notepad, basically.
Yeah, he needs
capturing all the ideas.
Yes.
All right, so Sean, what are your words of wisdom here?
I'll give some more degenerate wisdom, perhaps, because Daryl's was very,
Love it.
Yeah. So I mean, don't get liquidated.
The amount of viewers just went up by 1,000 now.
Yeah. Don't get liquidated. First off, right? My longer point here is like the crypto cycles. I've been through many of them at this point. Very early in my career, I was like in Bitcoin securities, like way back in the day, where it's like there were fractionalized shares of like mining companies. Way too early for all of that stuff. But I've seen so many, ups and downs in crypto, and I think the advice that's stuck with me is like, don't get liquidated, keep showing up, keep building, keep creating. You have a lot of value, and the system that's created here tends to assign a lot of value to people who are consistent, who keep showing up, and who are participating in the community. And so it doesn't matter what your skill set is, whether you're an engineer or you're a creator or you're just like a person who believes and wants to like participate and build community. Like there is a role for you in the ecosystem, and it really just revolves around you being consistent. And so stick with it, cycle over cycle, like we're all gonna make it. Just don't get liquidated along the way. And leave,
I love that. I don't know how to follow that, Daryl. I don't know how to follow that now. I feel like
should we just wrap it up here? I think
that's it.
Mic drop.
And I see some comments here. Will is saying LFG. Nelson is saying best project out there. Thank you, everyone. There's so many engaged people in the chat today. Nelson, Callie, Leslie, I see just out there. Just so many folks who are engaged, asking questions. And that just makes my heart happy as someone hosting these streams that, this is resonating with the community. And you guys are as excited about B3 as I am. So that makes me happy. And yeah, basically, you guys, if you've been following along with my content, my videos, I'm very, very involved with creating, doing media for B3. So very excited, and there will be more content to come. So just to put a bow on this, you guys, I'm curious, do you have any final calls to action for the community?
Yeah, so I think one piece is directly tied to any spend. I think, like Rachel was mentioning earlier, we're doing a lot. And so if you just follow one of our general channels and you don't follow it 24/7, you might miss a product update or a feature update or some alpha around our roadmap. So we are actually creating any spend specific channels for folks that want to follow that product directly. So there's a Telegram link that we can share. There's also the website, which will have more live updates around the traction that AnySpend is getting, how you can integrate more documentation. So that would be my one call to action for folks that are really interested in the AnySpend product. Like, we're creating channels for you to get the information in real time.
You can also try AnySpend, like, the 402 piece is like one of the developer sides, but like AnySpend in its current form is a great on-ramp and swap product. You can go to anyspend.com and do a swap today. You'll earn some points. We actually have a token for AnySpend that's a product token. And so you'll get points for the current season of the next airdrop. And so, these kind of things help us build the product. We get feedback. We get to test a lot more of the volume. We we encourage people to go and try the things we build. And so if you're interested in this, by all means, on the developer side, hit me up, right? We have a lot to chat about and happy to work with you in any form and fashion. If you're not a developer, you can still go try these products today.
Yeah, try it out and give us feedback.
Yeah, and you guys can go to anyspend.com to learn more and get started. And you can go here to the airdrop tab to see what you need to do for the next for this season. And I think we're in season 2, right? Season 2 is live.
Yeah.
So yeah, season 2 is live right now, you guys.
Yeah. If you click on the app at the top, swap. You can see that you don't have to log in. If you just click the swap.
Swap.
Tab.
Okay.
Yeah. You can see there's, kind of a familiar UX here, but you can try out swapping tokens across different chains and give us we'll collect some feedback along the way.
Awesome. Well, you guys just continue to amaze me. Like, I don't know what you guys can't do. I feel like it's like, just B3 is such a comprehensive, very diverse ecosystem. And I hope you guys go in, try AnySpend, try HypeDuel. If you're a gamer, there's a ton of games on Basement. And if anybody ever wants to play and go bet on some AI versus AI games, let me know. I'm always down to play and jam on content as well. Awesome. Well, you guys, thank you. We're almost at the hour here. So thank you so much for taking the time. I know we'll be on more streams. And in fact, I actually was going to share with you guys this Friday on the Build on Base account. You guys will be going on with Zach Prater this Friday. So very excited about that. Heard back from Zach and got the green light for that. So this is the first time it's being announced. You guys come hear more about B3 on Build on Base this Friday.
Amazing.
And I think that's it, you guys. Great stream.
Yeah.
Thank you for diving into X402. Thank you to all of our listeners. We passed 400 live listeners today. We got 412 people live tuning in to learn more about B3. Let's see. I have another question before we wrap up, asking for updates on any partnerships. We didn't talk about partnerships and brand collaborations. Do you guys have any updates on upcoming partnerships or collaborations on your roadmap that you're excited about?
Yeah, I think 2 come to mind, and there's a longer list that I think, actually, this is a really good prompt. I'm going to tell the team to share more on our social channels, but there's 2, I think, in the near term that we're super excited about. The first is our collaboration with Parallel and the game that we invested in. It's coming to market very, very soon, where there's going to be a playable demo for folks. And so we're super excited about that. If you're into third-person shooters, if you're into the crypto AAA gaming genre, would love for you to come play test it, check it out, give us feedback. I think that's going to be super exciting. That one's been baking for a while because these games, they take a lot of money and a lot of time.
They take a long time. And especially at the
time.
level of polish that you guys deliver.
Yeah.
Like, I played No Mores, and it does feel like a AAA experience that you guys put together with these.
Yeah, and GTA 6, so it hasn't come out yet. So yeah, these games take way longer than you would think. So that's one. And then second, we are actually building a casual mobile game that will be released maybe late Q1 of next year. And that's going to be with a household name a brand that I think everyone's familiar with. I can't share the exact name of the brand just yet, but this is going to be one of the biggest partnerships that B3 has ever done, bigger than some of the partnerships we did back at Coinbase and Base. And so we're super excited about it. It's going to be a global launch. It's going to be a game that's immediately accessible in Android and iOS. So very, very broad distribution, and we think it's going to move the needle for crypto gaming. But those are the two in the near term that we're excited about. And I know there's a long list of other ones, but I don't want to suck up too much time. I'll have the team post about those, and Sean and I will post about those too from our accounts.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time today. I've learned a lot. I hope you all tuning in have learned a lot. And if you want to dive in deeper, you can go to b3.fun, anyspend.com, hypeduel.com. There's a lot of different things in the B3 universe to explore. So I hope you all enjoyed today, and we'll see you on the next one.
Awesome. Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
everyone.
Rachel.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.